Hi everybody. In this quick video, I just want to go over the basics of how to use Calculatoria for the Chapter 6 Calculatoria assignments. So keep in mind that you will be completing questions 2 through 16 in sections assignment 6.1 and just the even numbers. Again, that's just the even numbers, questions 2 through 16 in assignment 6.1. I do want to make note here that for the Calculatoria assignments, for questions 2, 4, and 6, if you take a look down here at the bottom, there is a horizontal scroll bar. And so this tells us that we're actually going to have to calculate both the commission amount as well as our gross pay. So notice that you have two columns, so we're going to need two answers for each of those questions 2, 4, and 6. As for section B, you'll only be calculating total commissions. When you get to section C, however, we have this the scroll bar again on our horizontal line here. And keep in mind that for section C, and remember you're doing the even numbers, so for questions 14 and 16, you need to calculate the commission as well as the net proceeds. And so make sure that you do use the scroll bar because there is information here that you might not be able to see if you just leave it as is. So make sure that you are able to see all the columns, such as the gross sales, commission rate, local delivery amount, storage fees, as well as the air freight. Okay, so let's get started. I am going to just go over one or two problems here from each section. And so let's take a look actually at number 3 here. So let's say that Lewis, he has a base salary of $3,750 per month. And he earns a 5% commission rate on all of his monthly sales. And let's say that his monthly sales are $42,000. So when we calculate this in Calculatoria, the first thing we're going to do is to calculate his commission amount. His commission amount is simply his monthly sales, so $42,000 times 3%. This tells me that he earns $1,260 in commission, but remember he also earns his monthly salary of $3,750. So I'm going to add $3,750. This gives me a gross pay of $5,010. Keep in mind that you are still being graded on the proper use of your percent key, so make sure that you do include this when you calculate the commission amount. Okay, so that was just basics of finding commission and total gross pay on normal commissions. But we also have an example here, and I'm going to go over example number 7. And so this section deals with graduated commission rates. And so let's say that somebody earns 3% of sales up to $60,000, and anything above $60,000 earns a 6% commission rate. And let's say that the total sales that this person had was $137,000. So what we're going to do is to just simply clear out your calculator. And so I'm going to first calculate the first $60,000. Remember that they earn 3% on sales up to $60,000. So I'm going to take that $60,000 times 3%, and this gives me $1,800. Okay, so that's $1,800 in commission just on their first $60,000 worth of sales. Now keep in mind that they did have total sales of $137,000. So I'm going to take that $137,000 in sales, and then I'm going to subtract the $60,000 that we've already calculated the commission for. This gives me $77,000. $77,000 is everything they sold above $60,000 here. So remember that everything that they sold over $60,000, they're going to get a 6% commission rate. So I'm going to take that $77,000 and multiply this by 6%, and this gives me $4,620. So now what I need to do is to add that to the commission amount for their first $60,000, which was $1,800. So $4,020 plus $1,800 gives me a total commission amount of $6,420. Now let's take a look at an example from section C, and specifically let's go over number 13 here. So for number 13, they had gross sales of $38,400. They earned a commission rate of 3% on all their sales. But this time, there is a delivery charge. There's also a storage charge, however, it's 0. And there's also air freight. So remember, we have to calculate both the commission as well as the net proceeds. And so let's calculate the commission first. So let's clear this out. So the gross sales were $38,400 times 3% gives me $1,152 just for the commission. As for the proceeds, what we're going to do is to take the gross sales of $38,400. We're then going to subtract the commission amount of $1,152. We're also going to subtract the delivery charge of $68. If there was a storage fee, we would subtract that as well. But for this example, it was 0, so I'm going to leave that blank. And then we're also going to subtract the air freight. So minus $183. And this gives me net proceeds amount of $36,997. Okay, and so that's how you're going to complete the even numbers for questions 2 through 16 in your e-text. And again, don't forget to include the percent symbols when you're using Calculatoria to submit your work.